I can't tell you how many couples I speak with every day that have built up disrespect and resentment, almost bordering hatred in their relationships, especially after broken trust. But anyway, one of the tools I like to offer my clients is the compassion chart. And that's 4 questions that you can ask yourself to help maybe introduce a little compassion, understanding. I don't want to say sympathy necessarily, but again, so much resentment is built up in relationships, disrespect, especially after infidelity. So these 4 questions help to reduce some of the resentment, or at least get you to take a second look at some of this resentment. The first question is this: what was my partner's upbringing that helped contribute to them hurting me? And this could be like in arguments. So for instance, if your spouse was raised in a family where every time he or she said something, they were told, shut up. Now, when you guys argue, you hear shut up. Certainly is not a justification, rationalization, excuse whatsoever, but that is an influence. Now, yes, you could say, well, that was when they were a child, they're adult now, they should know better. Absolutely, I agree with you. But for the sake of this technique, what happened in your spouse's childhood that contributed to how they hurt you today? The second question I want to ask is, what was going on in your spouse or partner's life that contributed to them hurting you? Again, zero excuse, zero rationalization, but let's just say they lost a parent. Let's just say they lost their job. Let's just say they got physically injured and they were trying to, practice for a marathon, and you guys got into an argument and they said some hurtful things. Again, not a reason, not an excuse, not a justification, but what was going on in their life that contributed to the reason they hurt you? Now I want you to focus yourself on you. So what were you doing that contributed to their hurtful behavior? Now this is where I get a lot of letters from you and a lot of mean comments, but hear me out. What I'm saying is, if by chance, and I'm going to give an extreme example, if by chance you're slapping your partner 500 times and they turn around and slap you and say, okay, how does it feel? I'm never going to justify anything like that, never going to excuse, never going to rationalize. I'm just saying, what role, what responsibility in any capacity did you have in contributing to your partner's behavior? Now, again, both are adults. Both of you are adults, and both of you need to be responsible and accountable for your decisions. It doesn't matter if you slap somebody 100 times. They still have decisions to make if they're going to slap you back, and a choice, and I get that. I'm just saying I want you to recognize what possible factors contributed to your spouse hurting you. What were you doing that created an environment that planted a seed for them to hurt you? And the last question I wanted to ask is, what is your own background and how has that influenced you to respond? So for instance, if your spouse is talking to you or apologizing or whatever they're doing, were you told to shut up? And so you're telling them to shut up. Or were you taught that, oh, my mother used to go in the bedroom and lock herself in there for 3 days, and so now that's what I do. Or my father used to go out and drink, so that's what I do. So the reason for these techniques is because, like I said, once arguments and conflict and, of course, broken trust happen in a relationship, I think the sun's out. Oh, maybe not. What happens is disrespect, resentment, disdain kind of settle in our relationships, and very little can tear a relationship apart more than a core issue of, I just resent this person. I don't like this person. I have very little respect for this person. And what I want you to do is together look for ways where you can show one another understanding, empathy, compassion, and that's by going to the root of certain issues. We look at so much topical behavior. We always look at topical behavior. We have to get to the root of things. We always see the 10% of the iceberg above water. We got to see the 90% that's below it. We argue about topical stuff. It's all issues. You didn't take out the trash. You didn't do the dishes. You didn't do that. What's under all that? I don't feel prioritized. I don't feel heard. So really stop the topical stuff. Let's get down to some deep issues, but you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be honest with yourself. You cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So be honest in answering these questions.